In this video, I want to talk about 10 things that I would like to see improved or changed in Divi 5. Now, these things are really important because we are stuck now with features that were there pretty much many years ago. Here's an example of what I'm trying to say. So over here, we have the theme customizer. Now, when we take a look at this, I mean, we can't really do much here. And it seems like a very difficult way of setting up basic things. For example, let's say I wanted to set up my colors. I would come over here to my layout, and this is where I would add my primary color and secondary color. Now, stay with me here. Over here, we also have another area, and this is your theme options, okay? We can also set up our colors here using the color picker, and then there's also a third part. So if we come now to the actual builder and we go into the design, and let's say we go into text, or even title text. We now have the global colors here. So as you can see, we have 3 places that we control text on. So for a beginner or even for someone who wants to have a much better streamlined way of working, I mean, this is pretty much all over the place. So having one place where you can control all your colors would be, I think, really awesome. So I think this needs to be revamped. Okay. The second thing, I've spoken about the color, is the fonts, okay? Over here, this is where you can go in and set your default fonts, okay? But there's also another workflow where if you were to come over here in the actual builder, you can go in and choose your font over here as well. So why not just have one place where you can set up all your fonts, all your headings, all your colors, just like how Astra has done it. I mean, I wish I had an example here so I could show you. It's just one place where you can just go in, choose your fonts, choose your sizes, pretty much everything. And then once you've set everything all up, you're now good to go and you can start designing everything going forward. And I think Elementor has this as well. And I've seen this concept or this way of doing things also on frameworks. So anyway, the next thing I want to talk about here is also this theme options here. If you change things in here, it is not very clear for a beginner or for someone that is working on this builder. For example, there are certain things that I found out this year that I didn't even know for all these years I've been using Divi. It's pretty crazy, okay? So for example, your buttons, you can actually come in here and, you can come in here and set up all your buttons and everything, even your site identity, typography, background, and so on. But as I said, these are also replicated in the actual builder itself. So this, in my opinion, needs to be changed. Next, let's talk about the header. Now, when I compare the way to design a header in Divi, in the theme builder, as compared to how I'll do it over here on header and navigation, I found that there's more options over here on the primary bar. I can make it full width, I can hide the logo image. I mean, I can do all sorts of stuff here. And I mean, I can adjust all my drop downs. And also there's other options where I can work with my secondary menu. So this option here is, you know, a bit more powerful. I can even have transparency. But if I wanted to do this in the theme builder, well, there's quite a lot of things that are missing, especially if you're trying to make it responsive. You know, you really have to add in some code, use a bit of flexbox for this to really work well. So I would like to see an improvement on that as well as mega menus. I mean, right now, we can't really do mega menus in the theme builder. So I would like to see that updated as well. Okay, so moving on, the other thing that I would like to see, or the other feature that I would like to see, is a way of packaging your design, which means that after packaging it, you can actually sell it to in the marketplace or to any potential buyers, you know, your customers, whatever it is. Right now, I think the builder that does a fantastic job of this is Elementor. They have what are known as kits. So you package your website and it can be just sold as a package and pretty much it's good to go. I think this is also going to help Divi or Elegant Themes grow as well, because when you sell these packages, I mean, it just makes it easier for someone to just, you know, take that package, install it, of course, provided they have an Elegant Themes license. So before they purchase it, they'll have to purchase a license. And I think this will be an extra revenue source for Elegant Themes as well. So I think this is a very important thing that needs to be added. And it's also good for designers who want to sell all their designs in the marketplace or even on their own website. All right. So moving on, I know I've spoken about this a few times, flexbox and grid. Right. This, in my opinion, is something that is essential because right now with the current system that we have, which is Divi 5, we cannot do any flexbox or CSS grid layouts. I mean, we have to do a hack. In fact, I've done videos before where I show you how to do that. So it's a bit of a hack where you have to go in and enter the CSS code manually. It works, but it would be nice if we could do this visually. So that's something that I would like to see very, very soon. Okay, next, let's talk about the loop builder. I mean, at the moment, anything that really comes close to the loop builder is the blog. Let me show you how it works. So let's say I add a blog here and select it. You would have quite a few options of what you can load in here. So for example, over here we have post type. So you can see we can add pages, media, projects. And if you had, let's say, WooCommerce, you could also add products into this, and you can actually design this in Theme Builder to, make it have a style. But as you can see, you are limited to what this blog post can do. What will be really awesome is to actually design whatever you want here and then have it as a loop and make it pull information from pretty much wherever you want it to pull from. But that particular item will be looped, and you can create different versions of items that you may want to do on your website. So the loop builder is very, 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 very important. The next thing I want to talk about is dark mode. I mean, I think we are at a time now where dark mode has been introduced in our operating systems, and it is actually really, really good because sometimes I find myself, like in bed with my laptop, and maybe I'm watching something or I need to go on a website and I'm just relaxing. If we don't have dark mode, I mean, everything is just too bright. Okay, but if you have dark mode, then it's easier on the eyes, and I think it would be a very, very good idea to add some way of working on a dark mode version of your website as you're designing it. So you would have, by a flip of a switch, have the website in dark mode, but all those colors need to also be designed as you're designing the main light mode of the website. All right, so moving on, I want to talk about a class-based system. I know this is, I'm not even sure if this will be a very good idea, but we see this with Bricks Builder, and it does a fantastic job. I mean, working with classes is just brilliant. In fact, I have created SiteCrafter framework, which is based on classes, and so far I've realized that it is a fantastic way of working, and it just makes the whole process really fun. So I really, really, really like that. But I'm not sure if this is going to be a good thing to add, because the implementation of it, in my opinion, might be a bit crazy, because at the same time, we want to make sure that our designs, our interface is clutter free. And I'll move on to something that I need to talk about in a moment in terms of having things cluttered. So what makes Bricks Builder, in my opinion, quite difficult to use, especially for beginners, is the fact that it has so many features and they're just too much clicking just to get things done. So you need to get a feel of how it all works, but it's a bit more complicated because it is an advanced builder, right? So I'm not taking away anything from Bricks Builder. It is fantastic. I mean, it is advanced, and you can design pretty much any type of website with it. There's no restrictions. It's that powerful, but that comes with its own complexities. I mean, it's not very straightforward to go in and find where you are and where things are. It's a bit confusing and advanced when you try to use it. So my drawback on this, or I'm really reserved because I may be wishing for something that might not be good, which is going to complicate the builder itself. So that's something that I'm not really sure about. But if they are able to implement it in a very nice, easy way, I think that will be awesome to have a class-based system, because that way we can have websites that are very, very easy to maintain and very, very easy to use. All right, so the next area I want to talk about, and this for me is very frustrating, okay? It's the presets. So when you come over here to the presets, in fact, for this one here, we don't have any. So let me just add another module. I think I have some presets on the blurb. Okay, so if I come over here to presets, you notice that I have quite a few. Okay, presets here. Now, what I find annoying is, let's say I want to download a starter site. This starter site, maybe I downloaded it because of the layout and everything, but I want to use my own presets. It is very difficult for me to go in and just reset the presets. I would have to go into each and every item and delete one item at a time. For example, if I come over here, I have to go in, delete this, delete that, delete this, delete this, delete this, save, 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 save. And then if I want to add my own, I can then now add new preset. Now you can imagine this is just a blurb. Now you have so many other elements. You have text modules, you have blog modules, and so on. You would have to go into each and every one of those to delete or edit the preset. So it takes away the whole point of downloading that preset in the first place if you want to highly customize it. So that's one thing that I think should be improved here, because I mean, the idea of the preset is very, very good, but I think the implementation here needs to be improved so that at least we can have perhaps a tab which has all our presets where we can just hit one button and just resets everything. I think that would be really awesome for these presets, because the implementation of presets here, I think is good, but it can be improved. The other thing as well is, if we could export our presets into just one little document, a JSON file, that would be really awesome as well. And then you can just import it on a new website which has nothing to do with the one that you've downloaded, but the presets are working on a totally new website. I think that will be amazing. Okay, finally, these presets, if there's a way to sort of like have a look at what the presets design looks like, I think that'll be awesome, especially on hover. So let's say we have this one here. It's the blurb feature list. Okay, so as you can see, this is what it looks like. And if you add an icon here, that is where it really shines, because you can see exactly what it is. Okay, so let's just add perhaps this. Okay, so let's say this is our design. It would be really nice if you hover over it and then it just shows you what preset design it is. It doesn't have to be anything high res or anything, but just to give us an idea of what the preset is about, because over here you can see they're all different types. So having to see what it looks like a little bit, I think this will be really, really awesome for the presets. I mean, you can see here, this is the gray one. And again, if I were to click here, hover over it, perhaps I want to choose a totally different one. Maybe it's a plain one, and you can see what it looks like. I think this would be really awesome for the presets. Okay, right, so moving on, what else do I need to talk about here? I spoke about the presets. Okay, the theme builder. The theme builder itself, I mean, it's awesome, but I think it can also be improved. In fact, you know what? Before we go to the theme builder, let's just go back to where we were, and I'll show you something that I find quite difficult to work with. And this happened recently. Now, I was one of those people that really liked the idea of having the hover the way it is right now, but I found myself really down this rabbit hole of continuing on designing, and I've totally forgot that I was in the hover mode. And I'll show you how it happened. All right, so let's say we have this design. This is normal mode. Now, what I did was I came over here, went to hover. Okay, so I designed everything that I needed on this to show on hover, and then I continued on designing. So for example, let's say here I would add a circle counter, and then I would add something else. Now remember, I'm in hover mode. Okay, so let's say I add, let's say, an email opt-in, and I just started continuing designing, and I didn't even realize that I was in hover mode. So I think this is something that needs to be addressed, because when I realized I was like 30 minutes into my design, I didn't even realize I was in hover mode. So I think this is something that needs to be addressed. And also, if there could be some way of just highlighting or just showing us that you're in hover mode, I think that would be really awesome, because right now you could find yourself wasting so much time designing and only to realize that you're doing it in hover mode. Okay, so I think this is very, very important. Okay, so the theme builder. So let's head over now to the theme builder and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to hit leave. Right, so over here on the theme builder, I mean, it is really cool in the way that it's set up. But at the moment, our presets don't work in the actual theme builder. It would be really nice to, while you're designing here in the theme builder, for example, you can actually create your presets while you're designing here. And these presets will be found across the board, across the whole website. as you're designing. So it shouldn't be really a divide between the theme builder and also, your normal site. I think there should be some sort of uniformity as you're designing it that way. And right now we don't have that. All right. So that said, it may seem like I'm bashing Divi. I mean, of course I'm not. I'm just talking about the features that I really, really want to see to really make Divi 5 awesome. I've tried a few page builders now, and I keep coming back to Divi because I like the UI, the simplicity, and the way it's implemented. So if these things are added, I'm pretty sure things like flexbox and the grid are going to be added in such a way that it is going to be really, really easy to use, because currently it's quite difficult to have. In fact, I just saw recently Elementor introduce this bento grid, because it was a bit crazy how to implement CSS grid. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Elegant Themes is going to apply this into the Divi builder. So these are the sort of things that I'd like to see in Divi. I have Divi University. This is a place where you can go in and interact with other designers. This is a Divi community. I've left a link in the video description below. Go ahead, sign up and join the community. It's absolutely free. And, by joining now, you will have access to, hundreds of other designers who are using Divi. And I'm constantly adding a lot of content in there just to, help anyone that is interested in Divi to work much faster and more efficient using Divi. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. What would you like to see in the comments box below? If you agree or disagree with some of my comments, please let me know in the comments box below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.